YouTube, what it do? It is Ace Deuce, and I'm coming at y'all with a video. Been a while. My recent video wasn't too far off. It was talking about my review of Alpha Male Strategies book that I have on my Kindle Fire, and it was a very, very good read. Very, very insightful literature, you know. Then now I want to talk about The Rational Male. I'm almost to chapter 5. Just going to talk about game. Can't wait to read that, you know. Trying to get back into reading more as opposed to watching TV. You know, I do binge watch YouTube, mostly for red pill content and just some insightful information. Maybe some funny stuff, maybe some sports, but mainly for knowledge. Maybe some real logical type stuff, you know. And in the Red Pill Society, I subscribe to a lot of people. Rollo Tomasi's book so far is great, and I'll touch on that in a minute. Just want to give a little spill about what I think about this whole thing about, you know, modern society, hypergamy, the whole thing. Now, to me, through personal experience, stuff like that, I didn't pay attention to hypergamy much. I was mostly on the select side of things. You know, I was non-select. Well, I've had my share of select, non-select moments in life. While I was on the select side, and I'm not talking about being selected by, you know, 3s, 4s, and 5s or something like that. As Ron Wills put it, you know, adjustable 7s and up, in a past life, you know. But as far as like the rational male goes, and stuff like that, it's very insightful about, like, you know, hypergamy, how, you know, like market value of a person and stuff like that. I say, like, I see the whole sexual market value thing. Men and women have a different way of, like, increasing their market value as far as, like, making themselves the most attractive they can be to the opposite sex. You know, in order to attract someone either for like a one-night stand, short term or long term, and then for some people possibly, you know, marriage material. Man, to me, like, you know, it's no different from the animal kingdom. Like, us as human beings, we're like the highest form of them because, you know, we communicate verbally. The animal kingdom is just raw, mode 1 style. As Alan Roger Curry would put it, mode 1. And it's definitely an eye opener, you know. Especially with this book right here. It's, you know, the bitter taste of the red pill. Now, was it a bitter taste for me? No. Because I didn't realize I had the red pill in me years ago, before I came across, like, some blue pill stuff, you know. You know, that blue pill stuff, I had to pause for a second. I had to think about it. But anyway, getting back to red pill content, you know, as I was in the middle of binge watching some red pill content from Clink Scales, you know, that guy's like he's young and consistent. You know, young and consistent, and he mentioned he got red pilled at an early age, which that's a big advantage when you're young. I realized that looking back, I had my red pill moments and didn't know that it was red pill until like maybe a year and a half ago when I came across red pill content. Now, I've come across some MGTOW videos, and here's my thing about what I think about MGTOW. Personally, I see MGTOW. Well, even though women have had their version of MGTOW, where they just got tired of it, so they're gonna focus on their careers, they're gonna be successful, they're gonna do their own thing. That was, you know, in a way, that was their version of MGTOW before MGTOW. Now, as far as like on the guy side and stuff like that, us guys are doing it too. You know, like if they've had some bad there's women out there that have had bad experiences with men, so they go their own way. Men have had some pretty trivial experiences with women, so they are going their own way. We have a name for it though, MGTOW. The women's version of it, I guess you could say, is independent. You know, I mean, in a way, guys become independent too. I mean, guys are supposed to be independent. That's a trip. But here's the irony behind the whole thing about when men go their own way, they want to do their own thing. You know, they want to become successful too. I mean, women. I mean, if you see how women did it and stuff like that, you know, they put men off. You know, especially if they had bad experiences and things. Now, for a guy, I don't see how some women, not all women, because not all women think like that. Well, the ones I've encountered don't think like that, you know, in my past. My personal opinion about that whole going your own way thing, I see it on both ends. I've seen women that have got tired of men and just left it alone. I see guys that have gotten tired of it and have left it alone. Each side is going their own way. And then, like, I see it on both sides too. That once gets tired of the same old once more, they increase. They raise their standards. They increase their market value. They put value on themselves, which everybody should have. Everybody, you know, give themselves value. Everybody should have self-respect. Everybody should always focus on self-improvement in oneself, whether it be logically, financially, physically, or all of them. You know, not, I mean, maybe start off with the mind first, you know, start off with the logic, you know, start with the mindset. Both sides can have an abundant mindset. It's just like how it's presented. Like, now as far as how hypergamy works, I've seen it firsthand, and I find it to be very, very interesting how that works. And it's mentioned in chapter 4 here. Like, let's see. I had to pause for a second because I had to find my little place and stuff. I had a little placeholder here. I had to read something right quick. That's why I paused. But getting back to what I was talking about, like leading into chapter 5 of this book, there's so much information. Like, you know, for those out there that are single, you know, who choose to, you know, exercise their options and have a rotation or spinning plates as they call it, and those that are, you know, that you know maybe want a long-term relationship, and maybe for some marriage, you know, if you know, given that the you know the both parties, male and female, know what the other is bringing to the table, know what the other's intentions is. But Road Tomasi's book really touches on it. Now I'm mentioning it because I find a lot of, like, if it's interesting literature, then I'll go after it, you know, and indulge on it. Like all the other smoke and mirrors and things like that society has out there, you know, like say in the animal kingdom, hypergamy hypergamy is there too. Like, you know, if you come across a lion and a lioness, and both male lions are fighting for that lioness, stuff like that, they're gonna see who's tougher than who for bragging rights to procreate. You know, like which lion is bigger, stronger, whose mane looks better. You know what I mean? Even I even and you know, even like even like, you know, on the primate side, you know, which gorilla is the biggest, strongest, who has the mating, who has the mating rights and stuff like that, who's the bigger, stronger gorilla, the silverback in particular, you know, who has bragging rights to that. It's like, you know, hypergamy is everywhere. And as far as like what determines if a person is select or non-select, you know, it depends on the other person's preference. Like, they may want to do with a little chest hair, maybe a little 5 o'clock shadow, maybe a little 5 o'clock shadow. You know, does height matter? To some it does, but to some it doesn't. Heck, it all depends on, you know, it all depends on, like, you know, the interest level too. Like, you know, like the choosing signals, the whole nine, you know. Some use it in the form of Machiavellianism to get what they want, regardless of the other person. Some do it just to be seen on the narcissist side, and some, you know, on the psychopathic side, you know, those who are really seeking that attention, who thrive for that attention, you know, really go after it. I guess the simplest term for that is thirsty, to me. That may not be the term, but that's what it is to me. Accepting the nature of the other person, when you really tap into that red pill knowledge, then you start to see some things like I'll give an example from one of the shows that come on TV, Love After Lockup. Man, some people on that show put themselves in the damnedest situations, but there's some red pill stuff in there too. And there's a whole lot of hypergamy in there. There's a whole lot of hypergamy in there. For example, one of the couples on that show, and I can't remember the guy's name, but you know, I can't remember the guy's name and stuff like that. But you know, he had some type of resources going for him and things like that. You know, and here's this chick getting out of jail and stuff like that, thinking she's like, you know, entitled. You think she's entitled and stuff like that. Like, she's dangling the carrot in front of him, so to speak. And you know, you would not only will you see red pill stuff in there, but you'll see blue. I mean, looking at a little red pill lens, you see blue pill stuff. Man, and it's a trip. Like, even with TV shows, even with news, even with sports. For example, another example. Everyone was talking about that whole situation with Aisha and with Stephen Aisha Curry. When Aisha mentioned that, you know, it wouldn't be nice if she got some attention too, you know. You know, just because Steph is getting some attention, things like that. He's a pro athlete. It happens. It's hypergamy. Same thing like here in Houston, Texas. If somebody, if you know, if you know somebody that has some has ownership of a property, you know, like a high-rise loft or something like that. If somebody has a spot there or something like that, versus somebody who stays in the suburbs, stuff like that, with a nice apartment and stuff like that. There's some hypergamy there. Like if that woman meets the guy with the nice apartment in the burbs and stuff like that, and he has, you know, and he works hard, he has that 9 to 5, you know, he brings home the bacon. You know what I'm saying? He gets his bills paid. You know, versus like the person who has a loft. You know, with more amenities, and stuff like that, who does the same thing just on a higher scale. On a higher scale. On a higher scale. You know, the hypergamy in that. You know, this. I'm not using any type of generalization. I'm just using an example. There's some hypergamy there. You know, the woman may either choose to be with, and both guys may be humble in their own right. One just has more success than the other. Who's she gonna go to? You know, she gonna go to the guy with the loft with a nice city view? Is she gonna go to the guy who comes home and takes care of everything and be comfortable? I mean, you know, if she sees comfort in one way, she may see comfort in another. One just on a higher scale. On the other hand, there's the two guys and stuff like that. They may encounter the same chick on a different occasion, and we'll say she's maybe on a scale of 1 to 10. She's like we'll say 8. You know, we'll say an 8. Now, that's when, you know, then the looks come into play. Does she see this guy? Is she more attracted to the guy? Like, okay, I'll give an example. Like, both of them may be in like great physical shape or something like that. You know, the guys. Then she gets. I mean, you know, who she's gonna give better choosing signals to. You know, who she's gonna give more choosing signals to. Who's gonna be more of interest to her. Now, most would say, hey, the guy at the loft with the better paying job, better view, things like that. Some may say maybe that guy, you know, who works hard, has his own stuff. Then on the guy side, you know, if they see one guy may see this 8 and thinking, yo, she looks nice and stuff like that, you know, while the other guy may see this 8 be like, she cool, but I mean, she's cool, you know, maybe somebody I go out with, you know, but maybe I can do better. And that could go from either guy, you know. I mean, hypergamy works both directions. It's like, it's all about those interest levels and where they meet up at, where they line up at, and, you know, if there's some attributes that stand out about the person that make them attractive. It's a lot, man. And I didn't see this at first, you know, seeing it into a blue pill lens. Now, swallowing the red pill, it's like a switch flips. It's like, whoa. And I was like, wow, okay, I see it. I've even seen it at work. Or you may see two people that have families, a guy and a man and a woman that have their own respective families, but you can just tell like how much they hang with each other and stuff like that. Like, you know, some people may say, that's probably just a platonic friendship. Maybe it could be, but on the other hand, maybe it's not. It's just an observation. I mean, as an observation is, you know, of course, you know, really nosy people be wondering, like, they messing around. But on a surface level, on surface level, it's like, you know, they hang together a lot and stuff like that. So who knows? They may have found some type of an interest, whether it was like, you know, getting down or not. Who knows? But getting back at the subject at hand about the book so far is great. And the things I just gave an example of is pretty much in the book so far. So for those who don't have it and stuff like that, yeah, you can crack it open and see what you think. I'm almost halfway through it, and then I might come back and give my overall spill. But that's my spill so far. After this book, I might touch on something else, or maybe even jump into some other topics. Besides, you know, red pill stuff, things like that. Maybe this maybe the state of the world right now as it is, because it's crazy. The world on the the world going all different directions as far as like who's trying to start a war with who and all this type of stuff. But that's at a later date. But this book right here though, there's some good stuff right here. So far from me. For those who've already read it, they may have a different insight. But that's just me. But maybe more next time. I'll dig into the subject of religions, because I'll dig into the subject of religion and things, and and how I feel about the subject of like coexistence with religion, and where it could lead, and where it's leading to, or where it could lead to. But other than that, until next time, I may come with another video, maybe on a different topic. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm out.